the Jets will always be the New York Giants' little brother. Now, all the fans from Primetime Dimes that are here, what you've been expecting, the obligatory weekly New York Giants chatter. The Giants didn't have the worst season. They didn't have the best season. We believe that we can make it if it wasn't for old Dung Peterson. He got shipped off. Thank God that guy stunk. Kind of ruined our playoff push by taking Jalen Hurts out. But the Giants have bigger issues than that. We're moving forward. We're moving into the future. There's a huge debate either whether or not the Giants should reset the QB market and rip Danny Dimes out of there. I think that would be a drastic mistake. There's also been talks of maybe Deshaun going to the New York Giants. Not that there hasn't been talks of Deshaun Watson going to literally every team. I've seen him in a jersey swap on literally every team. But the New York Giants unfortunately ran into some salary cap issues. With the new CBA that was signed a year ago, the NFLPA fought hard to include more proven performance escalators, which, in addition to the coronavirus, is a huge factor in kneecapping the Giants' salary purse to pay out to the players. And this has caused what I like to call a financial fiasco in the Big Blue front office. And our boys, the mayors, the owners, the front office just needs to figure it out. We need to probably get rid of a few players, sign a few cheaper players, get younger, get cheaper, bring in the pieces that we need. So we do need to shave off the fat of the roster and increase the team where we are hurting, including the offensive line. We need a few. We might need a new tight end. Everybody's out on Evan Ingram, which I completely understand. We need some defensive pieces. The Giants definitely have a lot to put together to make that next step to get into the playoffs. Another news story out of the Giants Twitter sphere is that Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham Jr. with their matching knee injuries are going to be training in the offseason, and that is something that I definitely do not want to hear. As much as I love Odell, as much as I love Saquon, I would love for them to be friends. But I definitely do not need Odell Beckham Jr. in Saquon's ear chirping about how he needs to get off the Giants. That's just the last thing we need. We need Saquon going into the future. I did see on Twitter some people were saying that they would trade Danny Dimes and Saquon Barkley for, and obviously a few more pieces for Deshaun Watson. I think that would be a drastic mistake. I don't think I do believe that Deshaun Watson's a top 5 quarterback, but I don't think the Giants are just a quarterback away. And I don't think that Danny Dimes isn't the answer long term. I don't know if he's the definitive answer long term, but I don't know if it's the time to be making moves like that, especially not getting rid of what I would call our franchise running back, somebody we could build around. Saquon Barkley is no average running back in the league. He's not just replaceable. He's a piece that is necessary moving forward in the Giants organization. And as much as the running back position has been devalued by the consistent talent, as like one person goes out, a new person can fill in pretty decently, Saquon Barkley is not that replaceable. We definitely need to keep him. But the last question for Big Blue Nation is who the hell are we going to get in this draft? There's a lot of options. We could go receiver. We can go a defensive piece, the number one target for the Giants this offseason. According to a lot of insiders, will be Micah Parsons, the linebacker for Penn State. He's definitely a dominant player in the run game. He could definitely get up in there, make the hit, make the stop at the line of the scrimmage. But he's also quick. He could get from sideline to sideline in the passing game, and would be a great addition to the Giants' defense right next to Blake Martinez. He was a 5-star recruit as a defensive end. Got to the Penn State locker room in 2018 and immediately was transitioned to inside linebacker, where he became one of the most productive players at the position in the nation and was an All-American in 2019. Micah Parsons definitely would be a great addition to the Big Blue locker room. Another defensive player, Kwity Paye, the defensive end for Michigan, is he's a big fella up front. The Giants have a what I would like to call a terrible pass rush. We really can't get to the quarterback much. And in this league, it's a passing league. It's a throwers league. You need to be making the quarterback aware of your defensive presence. He needs to be moving around the pockets. His brain needs to be scrambled. He needs to be thinking on the fly for your defense to have any success in this new league. Because if you just let these elite quarterbacks sit in the pocket for too long, they're going to find their guy no matter how good your secondary is on defense. And Kwity Paye would be a great addition to the Giants' defensive line. Another prospect going in is LSU receiver Jamar Chase. He's definitely followed in the footsteps of his fellow LSU receivers, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. 6'1", 285, not 285 pounds, 208 pounds, with a 4.4 40. He's basically perfectly what we need. It's another weapon for Danny Dimes to throw to and feed, just to spread the defense out. We definitely need more weapons. I am pro picking a receiver with this first pick. I definitely, as much as we need a defensive and maybe another offensive line piece, I'm definitely pro receiver with this first round pick, the 11th pick overall. Also, I wouldn't be opposed if the Giants are thinking receiver in the first round, as suggested by Angy Talks Sports insider Matt Chambrone, that we trade up and go get Devontae Smith. The Alabama receiver is one of the most sought-after receivers. We'd probably have to trade up in the top 2 or 3. In his 2020 season with Alabama, he had 117 catches, 1,856 yards, and 23 touchdowns with a 15.9-yard average per catch. And the guy just balls out. He definitely would be the number one prospect on my list for Giants, for potential new Giants players. But we'd have to trade up. We'd have to make moves. Dave Gettleman would have to actually be a GM for once and do something, which is shocking to him. I assume he has never even thought of that. But yeah, this would be an unbelievable play if the Giants were able to go up and get this weapon for Danny Dimes. 6'1", 175 pounds. He moves, and he gets the ball down the field, and that's what we need, and would take some defensive coverage away from Darius Slayton, and it would just spread the Giants' offense out overall. He's very fast. He just moves. He's a deep ball threat. He's strong under the middle, and he's pretty much everything that Danny Dimes needs to move forward. But we have many options. We could go defensive line. We could go receiver. We could move around. We could trade our picks. But one thing's clear. We need to let Danny Dimes run it back one more season. Big Blue Nation has to put their faith in Danny Dimes. He's shown enough improvement. I know the record was terrible. I know he only threw 10 touchdown passes this season. But it's not only on Danny Dimes. He has a terrible team around him. You can't do anything if you don't have anything. And he didn't have anything this season. Dave Gettleman needs to cut the fat, fix the salary cap issues, and lead Big Blue to another Super Bowl, or David Gettleman needs to get the hell out of New York. I'm pro getting rid of David Gettleman significantly faster than I am pro getting rid of Daniel Jones. Although if the Giants do run back another mediocre season, it would only benefit the Giants at that point to move on from Daniel Jones. Not that it's even if there is still a little bit of improvement, if he just can't get it done and lead our team to at least over a 500 record, that it would be time. We just need to reset the market, reset the salary cap. It'd be time for him to get paid a big salary, and we just can't afford that if it's going to be a subpar team under Danny Dimes. But this season, Danny Dimes should get to run it back. From the